Diddy's defense team is calling foul play. How did they get his notes from his jail cell? And prosecutors are using them to try to keep him in prison. At least that's what they're saying. Oh yeah. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Blackjack. Life is like those cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor. Click on the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel if you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game. Please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, a bombshell just dropped. Sean P. Diddy Combs could be on the verge of a mistrial if everything goes the defense's way. What we have here is basically the prosecution received Diddy's handwritten notes as he's preparing for trial, in which they're calling attorney-client privilege, things that he would write down and possibly pass off to his attorney. And somehow, some way, his cell, or they did like a sweep of the jail, and his notes were taken. And somehow the notes made their way into the hand of the prosecution, and in the prosecution's latest opposition motion, they have used some of those notes, words from those notes, and the defense, Diddy's lawyers, basically saying, hey, that's illegal. That's attorney-client privilege. We're going to get right into it. Check it out. United States District Judge, Diddy's lawyers are writing to Judge Submarine, and the defense counsel has recently learned that the prosecutors are in possession of the attorney-client privilege material, including the defendant's own written notes. This search and seizure are in violation of Mr. Combs' 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights. Moreover, the targeted seizure of pretrial detainees' work product and privileged materials created in preparation for trial is outrageous government conduct amounting to a substantive due process violation. So basically, they're saying that they're not allowing Sean Combs to get due process by doing this, because the prosecutors are currently in possession of privileged material and are actively using this material to detain the defendant. The defense requests an immediate evidentiary hearing. This is an emergent matter because the government has Mr. Combs' privileged notes to his lawyers concerning defense witnesses and defense strategies, if you will, right? This is basically what they're saying. Hold on. The government's opposition to the defendant's bail motion states that the trial prosecutors are currently in possession of possibly privileged materials, such as notes recovered from the defendant's cell, docket 69 at 12 and 4. In fact, the government is in possession of written material that is absolutely privileged. This is a matter of grave concern that most respectfully must be addressed immediately for the following reasons. First, there is no dispute that the government is in possession of the privileged material. Second, until receiving the government's submission at 11:29 p.m. on Friday, November 15, 2024, the defense had never been told that Mr. Combs' notes were taken from his cell. Two, that these notes were given to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Three, and these notes were given to the trial prosecutors in this case, who then used this material in a filing to keep Mr. Combs detained, right? We request an immediate hearing at which the government shall provide answers to the following questions. First, who authorized a search of Mr. Combs' sleeping area personal effects, and paperwork. We request an immediate hearing at which the government shall provide the answers. Once again, first, who authorized a search of Mr. Combs' sleeping area, personal effects, and paperwork? Second, who determined what paperwork to take? Third, who decided to give this paperwork to the United States Attorney's Office? Right? Amazing. Fourth, who decided to give this paperwork to the trial prosecutors? Fifth, who made the decision not to tell Mr. Combs' counsel that the U.S. that the U.S. attorney was in possession of his notes, including possibly privileged materials, until after the government put them in a filing to keep him incarcerated? 6, exactly what material was taken? Because the U.S. attorney and it seems the trial prosecutors are currently in possession of privileged materials, we request a full evidentiary hearing as soon as the court can accommodate us. Ladies and gentlemen, I did a live last night, and I told you about what had happened and what the prosecution was trying to do. Listen, if Diddy is guilty of something, the government must give him a fair trial. If somebody went in his cell and took his stuff out of his cell unbeknownst to him, which would be, like I said, they're not trying to give the man due process from what the defense is saying in this letter to the judge, right? The opposition motion that was filed against Diddy contained this information, and what Diddy's defense attorneys are saying, that they didn't know that the prosecution was in possession of this material, right? Like, who stole his notes in regards to him trying to talk about what witnesses possibly he could call for his defense, and that they might speak favorably for him versus anything else. Like I said, we didn't know. All we seen was the motion that the prosecution filed, once again, that was alleging that Diddy was once again trying to tamper with witnesses and do all of these nefarious things. What they didn't tell us in that in the news reporting of that was that some of the information contained in the opposition motion were stolen from Diddy's own jail cell, and which may have been privileged information and attorney-client privileged information used as strategy to try to offer up a proper defense for Diddy and his own self. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care whether Diddy guilty or Diddy's innocent, but you gotta be fair in offering him a fair and just trial and giving him the room to defend himself. Once again, I said yesterday, they don't really have a strong case if they breaking in his cell, talking about his kids went on Instagram and he was on the phone and they sung happy birthday to him, and them singing happy birthday to him was gonna taint the jury because it might shed some positive light. So what it seems to me, that this is not a case about facts. This is not the case about evidence. This is the case about who can sneakily and trying to make the other person or the other side look bad in a court of public opinion before there is a trial to be had, if you will, right? So now, if what the defense saying is true, and they broke into Sean P. Diddy Combs' cell, right, and they stole his information, this is crazy, man. This is real crazy right here. So you got to understand that when we talk about the government's opposition in defendant's bail motion states the trial prosecutors are currently in of possibly privileged materials, such as notes recovered from the defendant's cell. In fact, the government is in possession of written materials that is absolutely privileged, right? So basically, Diddy's lawyers are saying, yeah, y'all are in privileged material. You went into his cell, took, and not only that, but they seemed to know what materials to take, right? And so, once again, this type of misconduct, if it is found to be misconduct, can lead Diddy to get a mistrial, if you will, or get the case thrown out altogether. Once again, if they have a serious case, this should not be a problem. But these documents right here prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, from what the defense is saying, not from what we know, but from what Sean P. Diddy Combs' lawyers are saying, that the government, it seems optically, is not playing fair. And what they want to know, and the questions are so important, though. I thought the question part was so important. We request the immediate hearing at which the government shall provide answers to the following questions. First, who authorized a search of Mr. Combs' sleeping areas, personal effects, and paperwork, right? Like, who did that? Who's in charge of that, right? And then second, who determined what paperwork to take? Third, who decided to give this paperwork to the United States Attorney's Office? Amazing. Wow. Fourth, who decided to give the paperwork to the trial prosecutors? Fifth, who made the decision not to tell Mr. Combs' counsel that the U.S. Attorney's Office was in possession of his notes, including possibly privileged materials, until after the government put them in a filing to keep him incarcerated? Six, exactly what material was taken? Now, you got to understand something. That the fifth question, when they ask, well, who basically, when were they going to tell Sean P. Diddy Combs that they had privileged material? When were they going to tell them that they had went into a cell, and who gave the U.S. Attorney's Office and the prosecutors this information? Yeah, this is getting trickier by the moment, man. Like I said, it seems like there's too much media play and playing to the media and press releases and all of that for this to be any kind of serious situation and where they have serious evidence. It really doesn't seem that way. Like I said, once again, Cassie settled her lawsuit. You know, they're basically hinging it on Cassie. Like I said, whether she would testify, I guess Little Rod, whether he would testify. But at this particular stage right now, what's going on is they are basically taking what the defense is saying is privileged material from out of Sean P. Diddy Combs' cell. You, I, or anybody else in facing any kind of accusations of any kind of wrongdoing deserve to have a fair shot at defending themselves in the court of law. And what it appears to be, I don't know, what it appears to be, and what Sean P. Diddy Combs' lawyers are saying is that something's going on, it's just not right, and the government's not playing fair from that perspective. So we're gonna see basically what happens here, man. But yeah, this just released, and for everybody who doesn't know, like I said once again, I just feel like if they have evidence against them, why not just rely on the evidence? Why the raiding of the cell? Why the all of these other things, and then the information that they're trying to use to keep him in prison? Shouldn't the evidence be enough that they arrested him on and charged him under the RICO Act? Or is this a he say she say case? That's what it basically is. It's a he say she say case. He said that she said that he did this and did that. Like I said, I don't see any real evidence being here based on the tactics that the defense said the government is doing in order to keep Sean P. Diddy Combs in jail. So like I said, we're gonna see what happens with this, man. But yeah, this is getting very interesting. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.